Emotional attachment can often feel overwhelming, trapping individuals in a cycle that seems impossible to break free from. This struggle can leave people feeling powerless and stuck, but there's a silver lining. Change is not only possible but well within reach. By drawing wisdom from ancient Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, individuals can uncover the key to mastering the art of detachment and freeing themselves from emotional chains. The profound principles of Stoicism provide a roadmap toward emotional freedom, offering practical and healthy strategies to detach from people or situations that weigh heavily on the mind. When someone clings too tightly to people or circumstances, they begin to lose control over their own emotions, allowing external factors to dictate their happiness, sadness, and overall state of mind. Emotional attachment can be likened to handing someone else the remote control of one's emotions, allowing them to change the channels at will. In extreme cases, this kind of dependency can lead to detrimental decisions. However, detachment does not mean ceasing to care. Instead, it means assigning the proper weight to things outside of one's control, ensuring that emotions are managed in a balanced and rational manner. A useful analogy for understanding emotional attachment is to imagine emotions as a kite, with each string representing a connection to someone or something. The more strings a person holds, or the tighter they grip onto a particular string, the more they are at the mercy of external forces. The wind, representing external influences, can pull the kite in various directions, leaving the individual feeling unsteady. Stoicism teaches that by loosening the grip on unnecessary attachments and recognizing what is within personal control, individuals can cultivate a sense of resilience and emotional stability. This practice does not make a person indifferent or unfeeling. Rather, it helps them remain grounded in the face of life's uncertainties. One of the first steps in practicing detachment is identifying the people or situations to which one is overly attached. Understanding the root of these attachments is essential, whether it stems from seeking validation, fearing loneliness, or some other underlying issue. Once the reason behind the attachment is uncovered, it becomes easier to loosen its hold. Engaging in activities that provide a sense of purpose and fulfillment can also serve as a powerful tool in redirecting focus away from unhealthy emotional dependencies. Emotional attachment is often driven by the ego. At a fundamental level, humans are creatures of love, unburdened by ego at birth. A newborn baby radiates joy and contentment without attachment to status, approval, or external validation. However, as people grow, the ego begins to take control, forming attachments to people, material possessions, and ideals. These attachments, driven by the need for security and validation, cloud judgment and obscure the ability to experience true self-contentment. Understanding that attachment is the work of the ego rather than an expression of genuine love is a crucial step toward emotional liberation. Living from a place of love rather than ego allows individuals to embrace the idea of abundance rather than scarcity. When people cling desperately to outcomes, relationships, or societal expectations, they operate from a fear-based mindset. However, when they trust that what is meant for them will come naturally, they free themselves from the burdens of attachment. This shift in perspective does not happen overnight. It requires deliberate effort and practice. By gradually replacing attachment with self-awareness, individuals can develop a mindset that prioritizes inner peace over external validation. The process of detachment begins with acknowledging the attachment for what it truly is, a creation of the ego seeking comfort and security. Once this is recognized, the next step is to shift perspective and understand that personal worth is not tied to these external attachments. No relationship, possession, or status can define one's intrinsic value. Over time, with conscious effort, the need for attachment diminishes, making space for genuine self-assurance and fulfillment. A key aspect of emotional freedom is recognizing that the ego often distorts reality. It convinces people that they are not good enough, that someone else's life is better, or that happiness can only be found through external sources. This illusion leads individuals to idolize others, placing them on pedestals and believing that they possess something unattainable. However, when life is stripped down to its essence, it becomes clear that all people share the same fundamental human experience. Each person is equally vulnerable, equally capable of joy and sorrow. One of the most destructive effects of attachment is the tendency to seek validation from others. This often results in placing excessive importance on external approval, leading to a cycle of emotional dependence. Building self-confidence and nurturing the inner self can break this pattern. Recognizing personal uniqueness and value does not mean viewing oneself as superior to others, but rather embracing the idea that everyone has an equally significant role in the greater human experience. In relationships, emotional attachment frequently leads to a mindset of lack, the fear that losing someone means losing something irreplaceable. This mindset creates anxiety and desperation, preventing individuals from appreciating the natural flow of relationships. However, true emotional freedom comes from understanding that no single person or experience defines one's worth or happiness. By letting go of attachment and embracing the belief in abundance, individuals can cultivate healthier relationships based on mutual respect and emotional independence. Detachment is not about caring less. It is about understanding and accepting reality with clarity. It is about making peace with impermanence, recognizing that life is constantly evolving, and allowing oneself to move forward with resilience and strength. The journey toward emotional detachment is transformative, requiring individuals to shed the layers of ego and attachment that weigh them down. When these burdens are released, life becomes lighter, and the heart becomes more open to new experiences and opportunities. By practicing detachment, individuals free themselves from the emotional chains that hold them back, enabling them to approach life with a newfound sense of clarity, purpose, and inner peace. Irreplaceable. This thought pattern stems from our ego, whispering lies of scarcity and limitation. It convinces us that certain people, relationships, or experiences are essential to our happiness, creating an illusion of dependence. In truth, however, emotional detachment is not about denying feelings or becoming indifferent. Instead, it is about recognizing the abundance that exists within the universe and within ourselves. It is about understanding that while someone can be significant to us, our sense of wholeness and fulfillment does not rely on their presence. This realization frees us from fear-based attachment, allowing us to love without the desperation of clinging, but with the purity of genuine connection. This philosophy aligns with the teachings of Stoicism, which emphasizes seeing every individual, including ourselves, through a lens of equality. Every person we encounter plays a role in our journey, just as we play a role in theirs, yet no role is truly indispensable. When we internalize this perspective, we cultivate profound emotional resilience, an inner strength that enables us to navigate the uncertainties of life with grace. The Stoics taught that we should focus only on what is within our control, our perceptions, our actions, and our will. By applying this to our relationships, we detach from illusions cast by the ego and embrace the liberating truth of our shared humanity. 2. Realization is your armor. It allows you to move forward unburdened by unnecessary attachments, free to experience life in all its unpredictable glory, and open to the genuine, fulfilling connections that await just around the corner. Letting go is not an end. Rather, it is a bold step toward the life you truly deserve. Understanding where true value comes from can pivot us away from unhealthy attachments and guide us toward a state of emotional freedom. This concept is particularly crucial when the challenge at hand is detaching from someone, a process deeply rooted in the principles of Stoicism. Detachment is not about severing ties with malice or indifference, nor is it about shutting oneself off from others. Instead, it is about recognizing that the most profound form of companionship one can ever possess is a relationship with oneself. True value does not reside in external sources. It comes from within, shaped by one's character, wisdom, and the way one treats others. It is easy to fall into belief that happiness is dependent on the presence of another person, that one's worth rises with their approval and diminishes with their neglect. However, this mindset places one's emotional well-being at the mercy of external forces, reducing vast potential to the whims of another. It is akin to a bird believing it needs permission to fly, unaware that the sky has always been open, waiting for it to spread its wings on its own terms. The realization that self-worth is not dictated by others is liberating. It teaches that one's value does not fluctuate based on someone's opinions or presence. Detachment, therefore, is not an act of pushing someone away, but an act of drawing closer to one's essence. By focusing on personal growth and striving to become the best version of oneself, the weight of neediness is lifted. It is akin to nurturing a garden. One does not beg a single flower to bloom, but rather tends to the soil, provides water, and trusts in the natural process. Similarly, when one focuses on self-improvement, they cultivate a thriving inner world, one that remains in bloom regardless of who chooses to walk through it or admire its beauty. This kind of self-reliance becomes a source of happiness that is independent, resilient, and deeply fulfilling. Walking the path of emotional detachment begins with the understanding that completeness is not contingent upon another person's affirmation. The journey is about discovering the boundless expanse of one's own sky and learning to embrace the freedom of soaring alone when necessary. Stoic wisdom reminds us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our growth. This does not mean closing the heart to love and connection, nor does it suggest withdrawing from meaningful relationships. Rather, it means securing one's emotional anchor in the steady ground of self-awareness and inner strength. Self-worth is not a puzzle missing someone else's piece. It is a masterpiece in progress, already whole yet always open to new layers of beauty and depth. When one nurtures this understanding, life becomes an enriching experience, guided not by dependency, but by the strength of inner wisdom and personal fulfillment.